Hi Cancer, welcome to May 2020. In this video, we're going to talk about May, of course, but we're going to more importantly talk about an aspect that is being previewed in May, which is Saturn square Uranus, which will become a theme for 2021. We'll talk about that and we'll talk about a beautiful full moon that is happening on 7th of May in your house of joy, in your house of romance. And we're going to talk about a beautiful, beautiful cosmic smile that is happening on 15th or 17th of May. All of these are spots of positivity that are coming in the middle of three planets going retrograde this month. So we're going to pick our spots and figure out what this month and the coming weeks are good for, and we're going to leverage them positively for us. So let's look at this. This is a month Taurus, Cancer, when we have Taurus season, when Sun is in Taurus, it becomes the time for you to focus on your network. Taurus season is excellent for networking for you, to connect with people who are like-minded, to expand your goals, to place new value on the work you have already done. This is the house of rewards. It's the time to create something that is rewarding for you or get rewards for your past work done. We initiate something which is our contribution to the society during the season, to a platform, to a set of network. We increase our social contribution in arts and creativity, in beauty, in finance. It's the time of ideas and ideals. It's the time we get together with people who are like-minded and create something of value to the world. It is the house of vision. Our vision is enhanced. We do work to embellish our vision over here. Your value as a social person comes to light here. Your social contribution comes to light here. The value of what you're doing professionally, the gains from your business, that comes to light over here, and you try to find the ways to embellish them. This is the house of dreams. It's the time to sort of effectively work on dreams, on your vision. When Sun and Mercury both are in this house, ideas are stimulated around your dreams, ideas are stimulated around your vision. You're sort of activated to work towards your vision at this time in the year. This is a time of community, getting together and building your social network that feels the same things, that has the same vision together. It's the time to get together with people or find people who are like-minded as you. But this year is different on every accord, right? So we have Uranus sitting in your house of networks now. Uranus entered this house in 2018. The first touch happened in 2018, but fully Uranus entered your house of friends and network and vision in 2019 March. So when Uranus enters this house, there are shifts and changes which happen with a zap. Sudden changes, sudden shifts, sudden revelations, sudden change of attitude happens towards the friends or the people who we want to connect with. Our network changes because what we are asking for from our life changes, our vision and life changes. We are stimulated to contribute more in arts and creativity, in beauty and finances. Our ideas and ideals shift over here. We're sort of driven in some way to volunteer, to have a higher vision of life to some extent. And important people enter our life as well when Uranus is here. Uranus is in your house of network till 2026, and it is a positive aspect with you. So it is adding to your vision. It is stimulating you to think differently. It is making you very independent in the kind of vision you have for your life. If you are an artistic or a creative person, and this placement sort of stimulates that artistic abilities, those creative abilities, and it stimulates you to contribute in a very distinctive fashion to your platform. You make friends with people who are very different from you. This is a house which is normally a traditional house. Taurus is a traditional sign. So normally you make traditional friends. You used to have a set of friends which are of a certain type. Now with this aspect with Uranus here till 2026, you will make friends with people who are very different from who you made before. You will move away from traditional friends. These friends will bring new ideas to you. They'll bring stimulated ideas to you. They can be unreliable in nature, but they're coming in touch with you to stimulate a part of you which is not woken up yet. So they wake up something in you. Uranus is all about waking latent potential in you so you can effectively contribute to two things: your creative output and the gainfulness. This is the house of gainfulness. So your finances, your ability to create value, your ability to gain from your latent talents gets stimulated by meeting people in any walk of life, through interacting with people who are very different. Wherever Uranus is, we are given radical confidence. We are given radical confidence in our vision. We are given radical confidence in our artistic and creative ability to go different, to go unique, to go to people who we were previously feeling not comfortable showing our talents to. We become comfortable in doing that. We become comfortable in the ideology that we deserve more as part of our life. We should have a higher vision for our life, that we can achieve more than what we have before. It gives you impetus to go unique when it comes to your connections, online, media, networking. It widens your identity, your social identity, to have different people in it. We don't have to get it all done, but working on it is fun here. So you sort of, this is the positive house. This is a house where you have fun interacting with people. Uranus makes it fun interacting with people. It sort of tells you that I'm done with the boring, I'm done with the old, I'm done with the security and the stability of the people I used to get before. So friends who have been sort of, having a traditional way of life, they could be security seeking, they could be stability seeking. You might feel bored with them to some extent. You want to do something different. You're going to gain something different from the people you're interacting with. And it's possible that your friends who used to be traditional or stable, they could turn a little bit not so stable here, because this is the house of friends changing as well. The quality or the way your friends behave, your network behaves, can change. You are the one who would be wanting to be independent from the common people, if I may say that. You'll feel that you want to do something different. You'll feel that the world is going one way, and you'll want to chart your own course, because this is the house of unique vision which is independent from the masses, independent from the people. So it is not the house where you want to hang out with people. It's not like your connection with people is through vision, common unique vision. So there could be a fallout from the people who are not thinking in those terms. There could be a fallout from the people who have different ideas, even friends who have too radical ideas. You want to have a bigger vision of the life, and maybe they don't have that. If your friends are holding you down, or your network is holding you down, or your associations are holding down, you will detox them. You will let go. And Uranus happens suddenly. When it reaches your degree, this action happens suddenly. Suddenly, certain connections are let go, and there is a dispassionate nature to it, because Uranus creates a little bit of independence here. It's ruled by Aquarius, the sign of independence, the sign of revolt. So it can happen suddenly that we cut cords with a network. And this aspect of Saturn square Uranus is all about setting cord with the old, because you want to merge in a different fashion with different set of people going forward. This is a time when there is a radical change in who is going on the future journey with you. First of all, where you're going is changing, your vision about life is changing. You want to contribute in a different fashion altogether in your life to the social. Your social contribution is getting stimulated. So if you have been in traditional jobs, maybe you would not want to execute those jobs in the same fashion. You want to execute them in a different fashion. So who goes on that journey with you? That is emphasized in this season. Similarly, if you have any elder sibling, this is the house of elder siblings as well. There could be significant amount of change in your elder siblings' life as well. This is also the house of uncles and aunts. These are the people who have in the past been part of your growth journey. But because your journey is changing, the people who have been part of your growth journey before, they will shift, they will move out, or they will change in the nature. It is about manifesting different dreams from before, gains from different places, windfalls from different places, rewards from different places. Let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is in your house of merging with people, gains from other people. It is the house of proceeds of relationship. Saturn is the planet of structure. In March this year, for the next 2.5 years, Saturn is going to be in your house of merging with others. In the last 2.5 years, Saturn was in your house of relationships. So the last 2.5 years would have been restructuring the important relationships in your life. Some of them might have been let go. Some of them might be in the process of restructuring. The way we connect with people shifts when Saturn is in your house of networking, in your house of relationships, one-on-one relationships. So in the last 2.5 years, the karma with a lot of close relationship, I'm not talking about friendships, these are the people who you are either married to, you are living with them, these are one-on-one connections, your one-on-one handling of clients. That one-on-one relationship has changed you and you have changed them. As your one-on-one and close relationships have shifted, what Saturn in the last 2.5 years might have taught you is what you want in partnerships. What kind of relationships you want to have in in your life going forward. Also, the importance of relationships might have been highlighted to you. From that, we move to the house of keeping the relationship. The house where Saturn is about maintaining relationships. It's about proceeds of relationship. How do we get the best out of the relationships? What is the way to be in relationships? What is the way to merge in those relationships? This is where we realize how we use our power, emotional power, and how does it affect our relationships. Do we let the relationships take power over us? Do we get enough out of that, or we are giving too much of ourselves when it comes to proceeds of relationships? And this is both personal and professional. In professional relationships, if you're giving your power away and you're not earning enough out of them, if you are not getting enough out of the input that you're giving from the professional relationships, you'll find that a lot of them will get detoxed. Saturn is about streamlining and creating the right boundaries. Saturn going retrograde on 11th of May all the way till September will be an exercise on learning where did I say yes, where I should have said no in the relationships. You learn where you need to draw the line. Where did I say yes, where I should have said no when it comes to relationships, when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to old attachments, when it comes to addictions, when it comes to emotional patterns in joint situations that block you. And this is essential for you to effectively contribute socially, as Uranus is stimulating you to contribute more socially, being more out and about, stimulated, join, meet people who are different, who are unique, who are brilliant, who are even weird to some extent, who are unstable, unreliable, because you're being stimulated by the people you meet. They're going in and out of your life possibly, and you're being stimulated to go for a vision. Now, in that volatility of friendship sector, if you do not have good boundaries at the power level, at the emotional level, at the financial level, then you're likely to not do well over there. So Saturn is teaching you how to merge so you can socially interact with people in a more effective fashion. Are you giving too much of your power in relationship? How do you merge with others? Do you let yourself go deeper when it's a personal relationship? Do you draw a line between lust and intimacy? This is the house of sex. What is the driver of intimacy? How do you merge in power with the other person? What is the structure of joint partnership if you are in a business with somebody? What is the terms of that relationship? And Saturn over here is gainful. So you could gain out of joint relationships. You can gain out of your out of sponsorship from other people. You can gain out of in being in a situation where you are, pooling talents together and then creating something for the network, creating something for a platform, creating something for a wider audience, creating something for a social contribution. So Saturn in Aquarius is very, very gainful. It is asking you to learn this talent of interacting with the other people and merging talents, resources with them, while not losing yourself, not losing your own power, while not losing your own ability to create value for you. I spoke about Saturn being here along with Jupiter, which it will join in December, in detail in 2020 and beyond video. I'll link it below because it's a source of your prosperity for the next 20 years. The structure of your growth, the structure of your abundance will depend on your ability to merge well with others. So Uranus will bring all these people in your life out of all walks in life, and it will cut ties from the stable, reliable, old, traditional people in your life, and Saturn will teach you the lesson on how to merge with them. Saturn will teach you financial lessons as well. This is the house of finances. Do you take care of your taxes? Do you take care of your financial investments? Do you take care and streamline any financial issues that you have? Do you have your debt in order? Have you paid your dues in form of taxes, inheritance? Do you have a will? Do you have sound investments? Do you have any issues in the inheritance sort of work out with your siblings? It will uh, it will sort of let you structure things that keep you financially safe when you're merging with others, whether it is your sibling or it is your own partner. Then it will make you work hard and create a structure of earning money from sponsors, from others, by being part of something bigger. This is a larger expression. Aquarius is a larger expression. You gain by a larger expression by earning money not from traditional sources but from other people, from sponsors who are giving you money for you contributing to a larger expression. But you would have to learn to be part of something bigger without losing your individuality, without losing your own creative talent, without losing your own ability to express yourself. This is a tough one, but Aquarius is very objective. You can find ways of merging with others in a very innovative fashion. In a professional situation, you could sort of come up with very innovative contracts. You could come up with physical ways of connecting with people in this difficult situation that we are in, where we are socially distancing with each other and you need to work with others. You'll create sort of ahead of time ways to pool talents with people who are at distance from you. On a personal fashion, online sex. I mean, I'm just throwing out the words that come, right? Aquarius is in your house of sexual intimacy. And so it's like, you know, the sexual intimacy is not normal. It is unique. It's distant in some way. There's so innovation there, and then social contribution requires you to give a bit of you over here. But this is not the house of 101 giving. This is the house in which you might be giving through a platform. So if you are interacting with a platform and giving a lot of you, are you keeping the energy for you? When we creatively give to a platform, do we retain our own energy? So there'll be a detox that will happen of the emotional patterns when you connect with others that drain you, that will have to be removed out of your life. This is a time of rebirth. You'll be structuring to have a rebirth in your emotional impulses. How do you deal with endings when you have to let go of something because you know it's not good for you? How do you release, how you detox, how you become part of something bigger without giving your power and financial away? But it requires a little bit of sacrifice and trust that you're doing the right thing. If you're sort of holding on to the old emotional patterns, you'll see that it's not serving you well. You'll be merging with a new tribe, and that will require your own emotional patterns to change. It's a very, very powerful aspect to have. Saturn in the house of, this is Kundalini release. So this is like a power that comes from inside you that you did not know. There's a latent power within us that gets awoken, and Saturn gives a structure to that. It gives a structure of release of that. Michael Jordan has this aspect in his natal chart. His ascendant is also cancer. So imagine him strategically releasing this power within yourself to use it in the right way. Some part of you has to die for that, because as Cancer, you tend to merge with others without boundaries. You're a sign of emotion, you're a sign of mother, you're a sign of nurturing. So some part of you has to be let go or modified to become this part of the larger expression where your emotions and your heart and your well-being is taken care of. We learn to share control. Here, there's some amount of, you cannot do that without trusting other people. So we have to be realistic, but you have to trust on some things as well. You'll have to get realistic, as I said, in financial perspectives, taking responsibility of your own finances. If there are close one-on-one relationships, they have outlived their karma and they're not truly deep enough, because this is the house of death. So if your joint relationships, especially marriage, partnerships, close intimate relationships, they're not giving you the kind of depth you need in your life, you very objectively, even surgically, could remove them from your life at this time. And Saturn is here for 2.5 years. We are just dipping the toes in it. You will find yourself becoming, this is a skill set. Saturn is learning. It's a skill set that is learned to be good to yourself, to detox your life. Learn that nothing is forever. Eliminating something that is hurting you, that is unhealthy for you, whether it is in food, whether it is in diet, or whether it is in objects, or whether it is a person. And you will have this fight between, there's a contribution that Uranus is helping you here, because it's bringing people from all sort of, it's stimulating your social life. So there is a fight though between the placement of Saturn and Aquarius in your 8th house and Uranus in your house of networking, because you're wanting to be social while you're dealing with the structure of your inner engineering. You're dealing with things below the surface while you're trying to interact with people outside. The classic fight that we face here is traditional versus new. We are hanging on to something which is not good for us too long, and that gets highlighted in this fight. And you might already be seeing the preview of that this month. You might already be in the process of doing that. Saturn is standing still right now. It has been since last week, slowing down. And it's making a very loose square with Uranus right now, which will become exact on 14th of February, on Valentine's Day, I guess, ironically, in 2021. So you will find yourself releasing something, or at least getting an inkling of what are you holding on to too long. How are you able to pursue your dreams will depend on your ability to separate wheat from chaff. Eliminating junk will be a critical part of your success and gains. To have friends, you will have to know and accept they're good and bad, but you'll have to also create your own boundaries to protect yourself. Healthy boundaries with others. Friendship and sex will clash in some way. Our dark side and vision will clash in some ways. What we want and desire and crave, and to some extent the lust and what we know to be right, will clash with each other. 8th house is the house of intimacy. 11th house is the house of friends. They are at clash with each other. Friendship and intimacy of sexual nature does not go together. They will clash in some way. Dark side versus vision. 8th house is our dark side versus having a bright and new vision for my life. Something old holding you back versus having a bright vision for future. These two will clash with each other. 8th house is stock market and financial soundness. That will clash with your ability to create gains from life. So we have to become responsible about our investment in stock market. We have to become responsible about debt. We have to become responsible about sponsorship from other people. We'll have to work hard on that, because our ability to create gains will depend on our ability to handle our investments and sponsorships well. This is not salary. This is extra money. This is not stable money. This is money that comes from others. It could be money that comes from your partner. It could be divorce alimony. We'll have to probably struggle in some limited cases to get that properly done, but you'll get that done, and that will contribute to your gains going forward. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dark about it, but if there are relationships that are not long term, that are not for you, they might go through a release, and they might have already gone through a release, which are, especially if it's a marriage, if it's a partnership, close partnership, that might have already gone through that process in the last 2.5 years. But now we are working on the proceeds of that relationship. So if the marriage or the partnership is breaking off, or if you solidified it, either ways, right? 2.5 years, last 2.5 years, you know who's there in your life, who's not. As a partner, as a one-on-one relationship. Now is the time to decide the proceed and intimacy and depth of that relationship. So if the relationships, they were separated, the next 2.5 years will be dedicated to figuring out clear rules of the game post that. Do you get your dues? So the alimony or the money that you get out of that, that will be in play. And it doesn't mean that that will go on for 2.5 years. It depends on when it's making an exact aspect to your degrees. And then if the relationship solidified, now you'll be working on maintaining that relationship, having the right depth in that relationship. Um, the other thing that we want to be there's a conflict between humanitarian causes, the social, the political ideals that we have, and that of a partner, possibly maybe your the people in your life, or the people who you were connected with earlier, suddenly diverge from you in your ideals, in your humanitarian causes. So you'll be finding new tribe for that. It's possible that the friendships or your network could be suddenly highly charged with political views or with emotions, and you possibly with that realize that maybe you both don't have same values anymore. So a lot of the detachment that will happen, or the new tribe that you'll find, will be on the basis of your ideals also changing. You'll come in touch with independently and realize and have more faith in your own humanitarian, social, political ideals. And with that, the people who have different from you, you'll easily let that go, because you'll have more faith in what your ideals are. The fallacy of this, the negative part of it we have to be careful about is, eighth house is a dark house. And sometimes when we have the clash between these two houses, though Saturn will not let it happen, but there's 1 in a million chances that we might feel that the means justify the end. There is sometimes we become so radical in our own ideology of a humanitarian causes that we think that anything flies. Saturn in your house of in your eighth house, squaring your ideals, is telling you to stick to the moral ground. So you want to be not be any situation of legal issues here, or getting into any moral issues here, any issues where you sort of being drawn into the negative side, because it's just the reverse of what Saturn is trying to do. Means justify the end is something of a fallacy. It's a fallacy that you want to be careful about. And you tell me right now that that's not possible for me. I'm a rational person. I'm not going to go like that. But you know what happens when Uranus is in a house of ideals? We become irrational in our ideals. And you're not going to feel that so strongly right now, because Uranus is not the dominant aspect right now. Saturn is. So at this time, with Saturn standing still, you'll be able to detox people who, or things, or negative influences, or karmic relationships which don't serve you well. But what happens in January, and I'm warning you right now because it will build up as Uranus will get stronger at the time. Uranus will be standing still in January, squaring 5 planets at the time, very, very strong in its essence. It makes us radically different from others. We almost cannot, and you'll find this within yourself, you'll be not be able to stand people who have these kind of views, different views, traditional views, who are not understanding clearly, objectively what's going on, or you feel they're not understanding objectively what's going on. So we become less tolerant to people of different views. At the same time, we become ideologically very attached to our views. Our ideals become sometimes radical to some extent, and we have so much radical confidence in our ideals that at that time we can almost become a loner in some ways, because you start losing people left, right, center, who have different views from you. I'm just warning you because this is a clear downside of this beautiful aspect, that we can get to a stage, and that's not at all what Uranus in 11th is trying to teach you. It is trying to connect you with a wider audience, which will always have different views from each other, which will always have differing ideology from you. And in the field of media, in the field of advertisement, in the field of networking, in being in a network of people who are coming together to create something creative, artistic, or of financial value, you will always have people who have different views from you. So at this time, one learning that Saturn Uranus square is going to give us in 2021 is how to tolerate and ready to differ with other people without getting colored by their views. That is also what North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius is all about. Gemini is about objectively listening to different views, seeing both sides of life, and North Node is where our opportunities will come. And for you, the opportunities will come from not getting into a specific extreme ideology about something, but rather just looking at the data objectively and sticking with them. Now that we are talking about North Node, let me give you a brief of that as well. Though I'll do a more detailed video on that, this is not going to be enough time to cover that. North Node is, as I said in the Venus retrograde video and the North Node video that I did for you as an introduction, North Node or Rahu will be in your house of release for the next 18 months. Starting from 5th of May, North Node enters Gemini and it stays there. It's a karmic point. All the eclipses for the next 18 months will be happening in Gemini and Sagittarius, in your house of home, in your house of release, in your house of rest, in your house of regeneration, and your house of work. So these are two opposite axis that will get activated. The South Node or the release point will be in your house of work, in your house of health, in your house of problems, and your North Node will be in the house of moksha or release. Now, what happens there? Does that mean I go to a mountain and that's what it is? No, that's not what it means. North Node over there means that we have to release a little bit of control when it comes to where we are going, when it comes to work and health. The road to success shifts when North Node comes here, and I've seen this time and again when people have the transit of North Node or Rahu in their 12th house, they tend to release their focus on their projects or in their work from the perspective of what the outcome will be. They do it because they love to do it. They do it because their soul wants to get there. South Node is a point of release, but it is also a point of spiritual attachment or attachment at a very deeper level with our work. So what happens is there's a liberation from trying to control the situation. There has been a long time when you might have been struggling through making things happen from your own will. And North Node and South Node here makes it a time to have faith, to detach from troubles, to detach from the legal, job, health related troubles. It's the time not to chase legal cases. It's the time not to chase the exact kind of work you should be doing. It's not the time where problems get solved by us chasing them. It's a time when if you take a higher road, if you let it go, things work out. And I know it's not a natural way of being, especially not for cardinal sign like yourself and me, but this is the time when growth comes from spiritually, creatively releasing attention to the outcome of the work. It's very much possible that some sort of a duty, some sort of a karmic duty, some sort of a work, some sort of a project needs to be released, because it's sort of, you need to be given a break. This is an aspect, if I have to look at it in short, 18 months, it's like a liberation. It's a break from problems. Not serving others through job, but doing it because you love to do things. You will be doing things that you will be involuntarily drawn to. This is the house of things happening because they're meant to be. This is the house of karma, 12th house, where North Node is. Things happen because they need to happen in a certain fashion, and it's going to be a growth period. This is the house of growth. We grow through faith, we grow through spirituality, we grow through isolation, we grow through focus on peace, spirituality, through giving our creative side an air. There's greater empathy and understanding of others here. And that is going to support you in this journey with Saturn square Uranus. It's going to support your growth next year. It's a time to take the higher road, lighter, compassionate role to some extent. Not taking life so seriously, even though it might be difficult to do right now. But there's a release of troubles, of wanting to solve the troubles, release of duties in some ways, release of problems in some way. There could be, if there's a health issue or an addiction that you're struggling with, this is the time when sometimes giving it to higher powers, trusting in it, having spiritual belief in it, using alternative unconventional methods, yoga, etc., it helps that problem go away. Again, this is not a medical advice. You should listen to your doctor. But I'm telling you, if mentally you release the power that a specific issue has on you by creating faith in something, by having a spiritual practice of some sort, that problem will in some ways go away or have less power over your life. Work will have less power of your life, or your wanting to prove it to others that you're doing the right work will have less power on on yourself. Growth will come, but it will come from foreign countries, from letting go, from imagination, from spiritual space, from creative space, from being okay to work behind the scene, okay to not create a lot of noise about it. And growth will come from places you did not expect before. This is the house of hidden things, hidden potentials, hidden talents. When you will release the control over what kind of job I should be doing, what kind of project I should be in, what kind of exact thing I should be doing on a day to day basis, what should be my work routine, what place I should be working on, there would be certain very inspirational ideas that will come to you while you are in a moment of peace, while you are in a moment of isolation, while you are in a period of being with yourself in a yoga practice or having a spiritual practice, and giving yourself the time to regenerate and be whole, and releasing your need to solve every problem that comes through. And Venus going retrograde in this very house will teach you how to love yourself irrespective of the troubles in your life. We will have Venus go retrograde from 13th of May all the way till 25th of June. You will value your privacy, you'll value your rest, you'll value your sleep, you'll value your meditation, you're wanting to donate your time to others in some way, to love others, and healing in the process at the time. There's a innate healing gift that is given with Venus in your house of spirituality. Release, regeneration for 4 months. It has been there since April and it will stay there till the first week of August. Venus is our heart chakra. It's like having a regeneration of the heart. Deep subconscious psychological release through yoga, through meditation, through past trouble release. Mental health is taken care of. Hidden strength is found. Hidden talents are found. Your intuition finds its voice again. It's possible that something that was lost, something that you had to let go previously, somebody who is a lost love, they can come back again in your life during the Venus retrograde period of 13th of May till 25th of June. But it doesn't mean that we are supposed to take them back. People come back in your life, whether they're friends or they're lovers, they come back in your life to teach you how far you have come, how far from a heart perspective you have progressed from where you were. Similarly, ideas from past on money can come through if you give yourself the time to not hold on to things so much. There could be sudden breakthroughs, sudden downloads, this is the house of hand of God. So your intuition on finance and romance, they're going to be very high. You have to trust that during the Venus retrograde. It will become stronger. So between 13th of May till 25th of June, you'll find that part of you become more enriched. And that is a prelude to North Node moving here, and your success will come through it going forward. The opportunities of growth will come through that. Praying, meditation, yoga, just giving yourself time to sleep, to regenerate, to let your personal life rest a little bit as well. This is the house in which we release love to God. This is the house of hand of God. So all the things we love, we're supposed to release to some extent. And it is very much teeing up with the full moon we have on 7th of May. 7th of May, you have a full moon that is happening in Scorpio. In at the degree of release at a global level, you'll find people wanting to release the thing that they're trying to control way too much, and they'll find solution as a result of that. It is happening at the degree of will of God. And for you, the full moon of 7th of May, which will have an impact on you for the rest of May, is happening in your house of love, in your house of passion, in your house of creativity. And wherever Scorpio is in our chart, we try to impose our will over there. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. We act through our actions and our control over there. So maybe if your creative flow has been controlled way too much by you trying to make something happen, this is the time when something could come out without you trying to control it, by releasing your control over it. It could be of financial nature, it could be of creative nature. This is the house of giving birth to something. You might be needed to produce a work starting from 7th of May till 2 weeks. You might be working hard to deliver something, but the embellishment and the true value to it will come through you letting go a little bit in the process and let the creative juices flow. This is also the house of speculative gains. This is a positive full moon, so some speculative gains might come through because this is a house of luck. This is the house of joy. This is the house of finding things out of nowhere. So this is a positive house through some karmic release. You might get something positive come through in the area of love, in the area of money, in the area of children as well. This is the house of children, giving birth to something that you love. So something positive can happen in the life of your children, and it's making a positive aspect with 9th house, 5th house and 9th house. These are the houses of positive karma. Something positive can come through, and this is especially true if you have planets around 17 degree, which is around 9th of July born. So something internationally, through an international person, something positive can come through, something loving can come through international person. This is something though for which you'll have to find some truths. Scorpio full moon always comes with some cold hard truths that come to light. So it's possible that some information can come through before something positive can come through. Some piece of information that was missing can come through. And you did not see that before. Scorpio full moon reveals information below the surface. So something related to a creative process could come through. Something related to a friend can come through. Something related to a person in your network can come through. Mercury in your house of friends and network is making an opposition to this full moon. So some sort of conversation can happen at this time, which may not be very pleasant. This is not a good time to do a business negotiation. So 7th, 6th, 7th and 8th of May are not good dates to do any financial negotiations actually. If you could, wait till 9th or 10th of May to do that. 9th or 10th of May and 15th to 17th of May are amazing dates for you to close on a contract, to close on a networking opportunity, to launch something at a larger scale. Those are some very, very good dates we have this month, especially 15th to 17th of May. Jupiter will be standing still in your house of contracts, in your house of relationships, and making a positive contact with your 11th house, the house of networking. So if you have to convince a network person, an influential person, or you want to launch something at a wider scale, or you want to land a contract, do that between 15th to 17th of May, and maybe do documentation of that around 9th or 10th of May. But on the day of full moon, on 7th of May and a day before and after, which is 6th to 8th of May, you want to be a little bit careful on business communication. But it is a very positive, it's a watery full moon. You are a water sign. It's in positive aspect with you. It infuses joy, infuses passion, infuses confidence, infuses love from beyond into your life, and something positive in the field of creativity, in the field of love, in the field of passion, in the field, if you have a speculative trade or a business of your own, something gainful can come to light during this time. But there is a chance of not so positive or emotional communication with somebody in your network that you want to be on lookout for on those dates. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. What an amazing month in May, as long as we keep an eye on what's about to come for 2021 in terms of the clash between Saturn and Uranus. We can create enviable career success out of this aspect, because Saturn in 8th is like you are creating gains out of others by knowing how to deal with others, and Uranus is going to bring suddenly influential, important, and gainful people in your life who you can interact with and create much more. So it's a very positive aspect, provided we know how to harness the tension of the square, not mixing eighth house deeper emotions with friends, not mixing sex with friends, sexual favors with friends, not mixing darker side with the network or the vision that we have, detoxing the old, moving away from it into the new positive outlook that you have towards life. And you've been through your Saturn, Pluto conjunction on your against your sign. We've been through that, so it's the time to sort of create something gainful. You're here to bring new vision to all of us. With Uranus in your house of vision, you're here to bring a unique vision to all of us. So detox whatever you can. As Saturn stands still, it will create pressure on you to detox something out of your life. And it's the time to do it. It's if you want to know the exact degree, Saturn is making a square with Uranus around 6 degree, but it's going direct at around retrograde at around 1 degree. So between, if you're June born Cancer, you might be feeling it a little bit more. If you're early born Cancer, you might already be experiencing this Saturn square Uranus already. Last thing I forgot to say is Jupiter is going retrograde this month. So something is given on between this cosmic smile between 15th to 17th of May. Something is given to you on those dates. Maybe it is a network opportunity. It is the opportunity to launch something. As I said, it's a great day to do that. And you get a contract or an agreement with somebody to do that. But Jupiter goes retrograde from 13th or 14th of May to all the way in September. When Jupiter goes retrograde, we are asked to work on that opportunity without the support of others. So from now till September, when something is given to you on 15th to 17th of May, you might have to work on it without support or expecting support from the other people. You'll have to work on it by yourself to add value to it. Jupiter is about adding value. Jupiter goes retrograde, you have to add value by yourself without the support of others from now till September. And when September it goes well, it goes forward, then you get the due support further for what you have created by putting inputs into it yourself. So good luck for that. And also, if there's a contract, if a contract comes through, that contract could hold till September. That the final sign off of the contract happens after September. It's possible that something needs to be sort of worked on it for it to have the true value, the true growth for you. Maybe the financial terms in it requires a little bit more work. So you'll find that from 14th of May to 12th of September, that contract, that relationship, that network launch that you're doing, it is added value to. From 14th of May to 12th of September, it might feel that things have stood still after getting an approval, but that's not what is happening. You're working on it, but without the external support for it. Good luck for that, Cancer. I'll see you in the next video now.